I'm Dr. Jacobi Cleaver.
And I'm Dr. Jacob Wilson.
And we are the OD'ing on Movies podcast.
We're two practicing optometrists who love movies, and we found a way to combine our two loves into one podcast.
We pick a movie, we watch it, we break it down while incorporating the optometry elements.
So grab your favorite movie theater snack and let's get started.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us again for another episode of the OD'ing on Movies podcast. And for those who are listening and not watching, you may notice that we have a third person on the screen with us this evening, Dr. Gloria Chu. And I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a second. But right before we hopped on for this recording, Dr. Chu said, "This is the least I ever felt prepared for a podcast. All I did was watch the movie and took some notes." That's exactly the homework here. And so with the OD'ing on Movies podcast, I'm the co-host, Dr. Jacobi Cleaver, joined by Dr. Jacob Wilson. And the podcast is just kind of taking on a life of its own. We have a bunch of colleagues and friends that are ecstatic to join us, and we love to have them on. And this week's guest is Dr. Gloria Chu. Dr. Chu, please for those who may not know you, who've been living under a rock for the last 5 years. So please give us an introduction. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Great. Well, Jacobi and Jacob, thank you so much for inviting me here. This is something I typically wouldn't do because I don't have a lot of time to watch movies. So this kind of forced me to take a break and watch a movie and sit on my couch, which was very hard because I wanted to do something else while I was sitting there. So that's my personality. Again, my name is Gloria Chu. I'm an optometrist like you both. I practice at the USC Roski Eye Institute in the Department of Ophthalmology in Los Angeles, California. I've been here for almost 17 years. I did my schooling at UC Berkeley and SCCO, where I did my cornea and contact lens residency. And I love fitting specialty contact lenses. And so that's kind of what I do day in, day out. Lots of irregular corneas, dry eye, lots of scleral lenses, and that's what keeps me going. So thank you for having me here.
We are grateful to have you. Thank you, Dr. Chu. And I'm sorry to have harassed you so much in your DMs.
Not a problem.
Yeah, Jacob was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna be persistent. I'm just gonna ask you." Okay, cool. So thanks again for joining us. But as customary, we like to kind of start the episode off with an interesting case, because we do have colleagues and students and pre-optometry students that listen to us, and so we'll lend the floor to Dr. Chu.
Okay.
Any interesting cases recently over the past week, maybe even today?
So this week, interestingly, I've seen a couple patients suffering from discomfort with corneal neuropathic pain, and that's kind of an interesting condition and topic that I feel like doesn't get a whole lot of attention in optometry because it can be really difficult to diagnose. So these are your patients that might come in with perfectly white eyes, no corneal staining, no redness, but they're in excruciating pain and discomfort. They're also typically some of the most compliant patients. They'll do every therapy, IPL, LipiFlow, plug, drop, you name it, they've tried it. And they typically don't feel relief like you would expect them to. So it's really challenging. And where I come in is I try to see where scleral lenses play a role in helping to alleviate some of their pain. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it helps alleviate some of their discomfort, but not all of it. It's really challenging, but it's an area where you work with your ophthalmologist, your pain management specialist, or sometimes other doctors that they're seeing, and you try to find the best combination of therapies that works for them.
Wow, that's pretty intense. So when you like specifically with either one of these patients, was there a systemic component? Like was there trigeminal neuralgia or anything in relation?
Good question. One of them had lupus and Sjogren's. So definitely in that case, some autoimmune involvement, but you can also have just misfiring of your corneal nerves where you're not really seeing the typical staining or injection you expect to see, and they still have these symptoms. The other patient, I can't remember off the top of my head, but sometimes there's really no known event and it kind of develops. Sometimes it's after surgery, like LASIK, or sometimes cataract surgery, or some traumatic event.
Mm.
And sometimes you're kind of trying to figure out what led to it. Sometimes you don't always know.
Now, I know you're at a tertiary care center there at USC. The patients, when they get to you, have probably already been to a few providers. Do they usually come in already with a diagnosis, already with a systemic diagnosis, or are you just there to help with the lenses, or do you have to order labs a lot and try and figure out what's going on?
So a lot of times they already come in with their systemic diagnosis. So they might already have Sjogren's, lupus, graft versus host disease, Stevens-Johnson. But sometimes with the corneal neuropathic pain, it's not always known. So sometimes they've never heard of it. And I'm very cautious to present the term because it can be really, it can be kind of a heavy diagnosis. And if you're not sure, you don't want them to go down that rabbit hole thinking that's exactly what they have. Oh, so yeah, you present it, there's testing you can do. You can do imaging to look more in depth at the corneal nerves to see if there's abnormalities in the number and the presentation, tortuosity of the nerves. But sometimes it's hard to see that if you don't have a confocal microscope, which not a lot of places have. I used to have one, but we don't have it currently. So I have to send out for that testing.
Where do you send to there in Los Angeles? Who has one?
So I have some colleagues at UCI.
Okay.
And I want to say they might have it at UCLA also, but it's usually like big hospitals.
Right. Academic centers a lot of times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever, at least I can't remember ever using or seeing a confocal microscope. So that's, I guess that would speak to the rarity, but I'm guessing a certain cornea specialist or department would probably need to have that to help out. So with the neuropathic, and guys, what she is saying is almost like an over exaggeration of sensitivity. With the cornea, and we know the cornea is already one of the most sensitive organs of the body. So I can just imagine. I can imagine what the patients are going through. I'm sure every day it's probably almost debilitating. I would say.
It is.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
And you said there's not generally a staining pattern, or it doesn't seem.
Generally, you don't see any staining.
Okay. Wow.
I've
never had that come in. All right.
No,
maybe I'm missing it.
Yeah, no, because that's saying a lot, right? Because she just said, Dr. Chu just said that she had a Sjogren's patient. So we would almost expect to see some staining with that. So if you're not seeing any staining with a Sjogren's patient, that means the patient is doing any and everything that they can.
Yeah.
With the job. Like that would mean that's total compliance there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Wow, I just learned something. I'm glad I'm on with my
kidding.
anterior technical here.
Yeah, it's we know Dr. Chu is a leader in the field. I feel like I know you. I know this is our first time officially meeting, but we see your name everywhere, posters and lectures and everything.
Well,
so,
I've definitely seen you guys scrolling on my phone, so it's kind of interesting how you feel like you know people just because you've seen them, but really you don't know them. It's kind of a strange society we have.
Right. True.
Yeah. Social media has kind of created that. Yeah.
Kind of created the matrix in a sense. But Jacob, what's our feature for this evening? What homework did we give Dr. Chu this evening?
We watched. I want to give a shout out really quick to Malia for winning our first.
Yes.
She won our first giveaway, $25 AMC gift card for correctly guessing where that stroke took place on that patient I shared. So not guessing, she knew based on the visual field defect. So
yeah, so soon to be Dr. Malia Williams is graduating from PCO at Drexel in May, and then she will be pursuing the residency at Bascom Palmer.
Congratulations!
So we speak fairly often, and she's awesome. So yeah, she texted me yesterday and said, "I just won a gift card from Dr. Wilson." Like, cool. I didn't know he was doing that, but cool.
I just did it. I just got excited. Want other people to share in the movies with me. Anyways, we are watching, or we watched The Roses with one of my favorite actors, Benedict Cumberbatch. It came out last year, actually, and I think I remember the previews, and I go to the movies a lot, but I guess I missed this one. I never watched it last year when it came out. But yeah, so we all sat down and watched it. First impression, what did you guys think about it? What did you think about it, Dr. Chu?
I loved the characters. Again, great actors, all of them, but I loved their professions. An architect, I've always been fascinated about beautiful, tall, big buildings because I went to school at UC Berkeley. So I would go to the city, go to San Francisco, and just walk up from the BART and see these buildings. So I love the architect aspect. And then the chef, I can't cook at all. I don't cook actually, but I love eating good food that with nice presentation. And, these days things are so expensive, so not going out quite as much, but I love they threw those two professions together and they had a very interesting dynamic.
Interesting is a good way to put their dynamic. Yeah.
I would say so, like, because those are two professions that are you have to pay extreme attention to detail, right? And you almost I'm not dogging any chefs or or architects, but you have to kind of be a little type A, a little of a perfectionist in both of those professions. But no, again, it's probably something I wouldn't have seen in the theater. I do remember the previews, but I did enjoy watching it. I think this is a perfect at-home movie to stream while you're just sitting and relaxing on the couch, maybe Friday evening, Saturday evening.
Yeah. And we had, just so we get the plot underneath us, Theo is married to Ivy. Theo is an architect, and Ivy is a chef. The movie starts out with them in therapy, and things have already gone they've done pretty bad already. They have nothing nice to say about each other, and the therapist actually says, I don't think there's any hope. And then we flash back to when they first meet. And this podcast, Dr. Chu, I don't know if you've seen, we always somehow end up giving relationship advice, whether it's Twilight, or I don't know, what other movies we've watched and talked about. But ladies and men, if you meet a man or meet a woman and you guys hit it off, that's great, but I wouldn't move to a different country with them.
No. Things move pretty quick with lightning speed there, right?
I know that's probably a hot take, but maybe get to know the person a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. But that's exactly what happens. They meet. He's having like a big architect meeting at a restaurant, and he goes into the kitchen to blow off some steam, and he meets her, and they hit it off right away. And they end up moving to America together because she's moving there to meet.
Yeah.
West Coast. Is Mendocino the Bay Area?
Oh, well, Northern California. I thought it was in Northern California. Was it not?
It is. I looked it up because of the movie. I thought it was over by Oakland, but it's like way up by Fort Bragg.
Oh, okay. Well, California.
Cali.
Yeah.
West Coast.
But yeah, they move all the way. California's a great state, by the way. North Central or Southern California. It's a great state. But yeah, so they moved there, and we jump to 10 years later, and they've already got 2 kids who I think are twins, like fraternal twins. It's a boy and a girl. Yeah. And did you guys notice that the kids are already 10?
Yeah, they skipped the baby.
Oh. I did notice that. So that would mean that, okay.
Yeah, I mean.
It happened right away.
Right. Exactly. That's a good way to put it, Dr. Chu. It happened right away.
Yeah. Just take your time, guys. That's all I could say. And I thought the building he made, so he's having a lot of success in his career, and he made this building. It's a museum. It's like a maritime museum of California. I thought the building was so cool. It has a sail on it. And he's really proud of it. They're having an opening night for it. And it seems like things are going really well for them. They're really sweet to each other. They're kind of snarky and joke with each other, but you can tell they love each other. So right away, you're like, okay, this is way different than what we saw in that opening therapy scene. And she's like applauding his success. He helps her open up a restaurant, which really isn't doing much. And we'll talk about the name of that restaurant in a minute, I guess. But what ends up happening is he has this building. It's beautiful, and he has this opening night, and there's a storm that completely destroys the building. And that's one of the funnier scenes I've seen in a movie in the last year. It was sad, but I was cracking up at that. And that's kind of where I would say that's kind of, it seems where all their problems started.
Yeah, because from the success of the building, they have a walk on the beach or somewhere, and he said he wants to invest in her opening up a restaurant. And that's where that came from. So she was like, "Oh, we're gonna have money for a down payment for our dream house." She said, "No, we're gonna invest in a restaurant." And the name of that restaurant was Dr. Chu.
I can't remember.
Why are we making Dr. Chu say it?
I can't remember. What was it? Something about crabs.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know why he put you on the spot.
I did. It's called We Got Crabs.
We've got crabs. Yeah.
It was something about crabs. I remember that.
Wait a minute. Now, is crabs like? Because normally when I think about crabs, it's a East Coast thing, like up in Maine.
Boston.
No. Crabs are West Coast. I mean, they're everywhere, but the big ones you eat are West Coast usually.
Lobster is Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I love crab.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you call it West Coast because it's usually like off of Alaska and Canada, but they go get those big king crab and snow crabs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm not a big crab either. I guess I just never think to order it here in Houston, but I don't know. Huh.
What does Charles Barkley say about the water there in Galveston? Isn't it like
dirty and brown or something?
Dirty. I wouldn't want to eat the crabs out of there either. But no, we've got some good crabs over here.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like crab a lot more than lobster, actually. I think it has more flavor to it.
It's harder to get the meat out though.
Yeah. You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah, you gotta work at it.
Yeah.
So would you say crab is more of like a social type food like we do with crawfish out here?
It's
more
really
like social
messy.
type.
It's really messy. So you have to be, you got to get your hands and get the pick and break the stuff and then like suck it out. It's not like super polite or like clean.
Polite?
No, you like gotta
work at it. Gotta crack that shell. Yeah.
Jacob, you never been to a crab boil or anything like that where you put the bib on and we gotta go to one of those.
I've ever done out here was crawfish.
Well, that's kind of similar.
Mm-hmm. I know when you come out here for Academy, I know a couple good spots. We'll have to go.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Are you both going to Academy in Anaheim?
Absolutely. Will you be there?
I will be there. I actually had one lecture accepted, so I will be there.
Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, I'm doing a lecture as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yay! What are you lecturing on?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I'm actually doing two. One is a prep course for the anterior segment diplomate track.
Oh, whoa!
And then the other one is like the power of compassion. I'm doing that one with Dr. Essence Johnson and Dr. Brianne McGee.
That's so
cool.
Great.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
I'm gonna try to come. I'm gonna find you in the schedule.
Likewise. And then we can go. Then we have Jacob go take us to eat crab. We can pick.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say I didn't offer to pay. I just said we're gonna.
I don't know.
I just said we're gonna go. I'm not that far out of school yet, so.
Well, we can meet at an industry-sponsored dinner.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of those going on. Absolutely right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyways, crab is great, and she opens the restaurant and calls it "We've Got Crabs," which is a funny name. It's funny, but I don't know if it's somewhere I'd want to go eat. True. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's like a gag.
I think as you guys speaking as medical professionals, I think I would go eat there. If the main dish is crab, I can fool with it. I can fool with the name and the catchphrases and all that kind of stuff and go eat there.
Well, they had trouble getting clients to come in the beginning.
Oh, that's true.
It wasn't until the the food critic came.
Yeah.
and gave them a stunning review that they started getting a lot of customers.
Yep, that's absolutely.
They got a lot of customers.
Yeah.
And that's how things happen. I guess that's how it happens everywhere. But I feel like in LA, I'll see something on Instagram. One person gives it a good review, and then all of a sudden it blows up, and there's lines around the corner.
One time I was reading like those magazines that you get, like advertising things. Wasn't like Costco, but one of those like magazines, like a city magazine. And I was just flipping through the culinary area, and that's where I found like great restaurants to go to.
Oh, cool.
So is this just like advertisement, or is it something like somebody written up a little article about it?
It was like some kind of like auto or AAA book. You know how they have Costco magazines at AAA? And I was looking in the dining area, and it had like a good review for a restaurant, and there you go.
Yeah, so that just goes to show that there's still a place in our society for like written material. Like everything doesn't have to be on the internet or social media, anything. Like sometimes you can just pick up a AAA magazine or something.
Before you toss it in the recycle, you just flip through it.
Right. I mean, because they're still spending money to print and send it to you, right? At least you can do is look at it. Look at the culinary section.
For our students, a magazine is a book of sorts that they used to print off and send to your house. So.
I happen to have this on my desk, actually.
You got the optometry time. Right? That's what I'm saying.
Do you guys read material? Like, I get them in the mail and I try to skim through them, and then I save them, and I have like a whole stack of them in my cabinet that, sometimes I just want to skim a little bit.
At some point we'll get to them. Right. Like I do the same thing, Doc. I'll get to them at some point.
I do get one in my mailbox every month, I think, where I work, but I don't even know what happens to it.
I don't.
So
shame on you, Jacob. Shame.
Sorry. You know what? We'll delete that. I'm gonna All right. Well, so we start seeing kind of the dichotomy between the two start to happen, where she's having massive success and he's become a complete failure. I mean, I'm not an architect, but I have to imagine if your building falls apart on national TV, or ended up on the internet. If that happens, I have to imagine your career is kind of done. But it seems like everything's going to be okay because she's taken off. They're opening new restaurants in different cities, and they just decide that he's going to stay home with the kids, and he puts them on this crazy training regimen so they can become like Olympic athletes and stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's
and wild. What's funny is the kids love it.
That's
the kids are all about it. Yeah. I don't know if every kid would be like that. Yeah. And so that's what they're doing. But, I don't know how you guys would describe it, but I would say life just kind of starts to creep up on them. She's really busy, and you can tell he's kind of feeling underappreciated, or he feels like a failure. And yeah, it kind of starts all building up on them. And what ends up, do they go to therapy?
Okay, so you said at this point, life kind of creeps up on them, and and then and you said you cut off right when you said the therapy part.
Oh, I was just trying to figure out what like precipitated that, like because it seemed like they were doing well, and then he would be taking care of the kids, and she was like randomly on a plane to LA or things like that, and he just felt like he wasn't getting a lot of help, and yeah, it just kind of all started to fall apart pretty fast. There's some pretty funny scenes where they just, are being pretty mean to each other in front of their friends and stuff. And but what I remember is they end up going to therapy. We get back to that scene where we were in the beginning, and it actually seems like they walk out of there, and it kind of seems like they're going to be okay.
Right.
It doesn't seem as bad as it did from that opening scene, and it seems like maybe, yeah. Seems like maybe the therapist was a little inappropriate in saying they weren't going to make it.
And I think that's what encouraged them to try to make it work, because the therapist said she didn't think they could ever make it work.
Right.
And so they kind of laughed about it together. But yeah, they were just increasingly mean to each other and like sabotaging each other. And that dinner scene where, the wife cooked this beautiful meal and then she lost it and like ended up throwing the cake at everybody.
Right.
That, oh my gosh, that was hard because one, the cake, it looked so good and it was just being wasted. But then, and all their friends, I think along this time knew something was wrong with them. So they were trying to say, are you guys okay? Are you okay? But finally, yeah, it just, their problems became very evident.
Right. It seemed like there was a bad note in it first. It seemed like it was going to be good when they left, going on the right path when they left the therapist. They get back. At this point, I think this is right after what Dr. Chu was alluding to, is this is right after they built this fantastic house that was designed by Theo. Insane house.
Yeah, they spent 3 years designing it. It was cool.
Yeah, that was insane. Right, and they're having a dinner party, and they just kind of go off on each other there.
But I don't know why poor Kristen Wiig got the brunt of the cake. She got like most of the cake right to her face.
Kristen was kind of creeping on Theo throughout the whole movie, man.
She was. She's one of my favorite comedians. And she's so funny.
And then at this point, they have the party's over. They have a discussion, and she just can't seem to apologize. So he storms off. He's in a bathtub with his headphones on, and she actually comes to the door and she apologizes, but he doesn't hear it at all.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he doesn't hear
he had
it at
like
all.
Earphones on or something in the back.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
AirPod Maxes or something. Yeah.
And then so they can hear it, and then it's just like next morning, it's still this awkward tension. Again, she thinks that he heard the apology, and he doesn't even know that she tried to apologize. So he just goes for a run. He sees this beached whale. And then he goes,
I was not expecting that at all.
I wasn't either. Yeah, me neither. And
that was
so
interesting.
He has kind of like this, what would you say it was? Like an awakening or something. Like
an epiphany.
That works.
And then he had this reckoning that he could relate to this sea animal, and he wanted to help this whale. And then he built, he gathered people from the community on the road to help him bring the whale back. And I think he found meaning in his life again.
Right. And then this is when he returns home. They have a conversation, and you're like, why am I still with you?
Yeah.
He realized he wanted to be free from the marriage. And so, and this is, I like to break down my movies and, try to find hidden themes and everything. That was a humpback whale on the beach.
Oh, was it?
It was. But it was a baby. It was so small.
Yeah.
And baby humpback whales can't make it without their mom. So maybe the baby whale was free for a little bit, and maybe he was going to be free for a little bit. So see where I'm going with that?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think a lot when I watch these movies. So. Yeah. No, I just Googled it about what. So. I was just wondering. I was like, what kind of whale is that small? And it said it was a baby humpback whale. So that's what Google AI said. I don't know if that's true.
That's a good Google question too, man.
But I think another theme in this movie is that it kind of brings out how when someone's doing really well, like you want to celebrate them, but then you also can't help but feel like you're not good enough or jealous of their success. And I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. Like we see someone just doing amazing in life, and maybe you only see the highlights of their life, like lots of times on social media. And then you think, oh man, the one project I had collapsed in a storm, and you can only, rerun that failure in your life over and over. And it's hard to overcome your failures. And you just wish you could be better, wish you could be different. And that's where this jealousy and these problems stem from.
Right. No, and comparison is the thief of joy, right? Because you can be happy for someone, and you could either use it as motivation to get yourself going, or you can use it as just comparing yourself to someone, which again, this is a thief of joy, which is kind of rough. And I think that's where a lot of the animosity kind of builds up with him, because his career was taken off.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that storm, his career was taken off. And I don't think either one of them could have seen her career taken off as much as it did. Right. Which is by happenstance. That's exactly what happened. The dynamic shifted, and he couldn't handle it. He just could not handle it. But I mean, to his credit, she was doing some pretty amazing stuff. Like, you fly to France on a whim and on a private jet and everything. Yeah, I would probably be a little jealous about that. I admit.
Yeah. No, and it's hard to, like Dr. Chu was saying, it's hard to not think you're the only failure out there, or that not like everyone has had something go wrong or done something. You made mistakes in their life, and you can get caught up in that so easy and feel like other people are passing you by, but you never know what's really going on in people's lives. So,
true.
But yeah, so that's kind of, they decide they're going to get divorced at that point, right? So they start working through with the divorce lawyers and everything, and it's just not amicable at all. No. It's like the stereotypical worst case scenario. They can't agree on anything, and then they start sabotaging each other's careers.
I wasn't expecting that. That was pretty. It went 0 to 60 pretty quick.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting the last 20 minutes of the movie at all.
Yeah, right.
They were destroying that beautiful home because nobody could agree on who was going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think them destroying the home was like the least. That was like the nicest thing that they done to each other. Like, she did the deep AI fake of him smoking crack rock, and
the crack rock was crazy.
He shaved off like some Bunyan fudge or something into her recipe,
and mushrooms.
I forgot about that one. Yeah. Oh, and no, they put mushrooms in the.
Yeah, so everyone's in there high, getting naked and stuff.
Took their clothes off, and
that's terrible stuff. Like, them tearing up the house was the least of their concerns, I thought.
That's true. It's true.
And then the last scene in there when he, because she's allergic to raspberries, so he laced her dessert with raspberries, and anaphylactic shock, and he wants her to sign the papers, and she finally signs the papers, and he hits her with the EpiPen, which is just kind of wild, man.
That is attempted murder for sure.
Well, that and then her firing the gun at him 6 or 7 times. I guess they even.
Yeah.
That was. She pulled out the gun. Good. She pulled out the gun, and I was like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. And I was like, well, I guess you hear all these true crime stories. I guess maybe this is how it goes down sometimes. Like, they were chasing each other all over the house. She had the gun, and then somehow they ended up apologizing to each other and deciding they did love each other.
Yeah, they finally made up at the end.
They made up at the end.
And then the house blew up.
Yeah.
Well,
or at least that's what we think. That's what they leave us to think.
We didn't see it. We
didn't see it. There was in them destroying the house, they tore up the stove.
Right.
The stove top, and they cracked the gas line, and the gas is seeping through the house. So they are in the middle of reconciliation, I should say. And it's a real smart house. So the Theo says, play our favorite song and light the fire. So that's where the movie ends. We can assume that the house blows up. But, that's the cliffhanger of this movie, I guess. So
I know.
I want to, in my heart, I want to wish for a happy ending.
Me too.
Here's the thing, though.
Here's Jacob.
Dr. Chu, I don't really like happy endings. I don't know.
It's because he's a horror movie buff. That's
why. No, but so right now, my wife Jenny, she's got me watching the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Have you guys seen that at all?
No.
I started watching it now.
It's kind of a depressing reality show, but there's this couple on there, and they're so toxic for each other, but they keep breaking up and getting back together, and breaking up and getting back together, breaking up and getting back together. And I kind of feel like these guys were going to be on that cycle of, maybe they're going to be okay for a while. So maybe the house blowing up was the ending everyone needed. The kids seemed to be happy with them getting divorced, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because throughout the movie they did, and I don't want to sound inappropriate when I'm saying this, but throughout the movie they did say murder suicide pact a couple of times, like in a joking manner.
Oh, they did.
They did mention that a couple of times throughout the movie, and I just again I want to preface that saying, I'm not making light of any situation like that, but that's what was discussed in the movie a couple of times, but it was in a very snarky, tongue-in-cheek type way.
The whole movie was kind of like, it was very dry humor.
Right.
Some of it was pretty inappropriate humor, and I don't mean inappropriate necessarily being really vulgar, but sometimes just things you wouldn't.
No, it was pretty vulgar at points too, bro.
Sometimes, but there was actually a couple, but some of the things were like, oh, usually you wouldn't laugh at something like that, but some of it was just kind of dark, dry humor.
Yeah.
True.
But also, how many fireplaces in modern day America are actually gas powered with a flame? It could have just been an electric fireplace that was basically just a heater.
I don't know.
Yeah, or like fireplaces really aren't commonplace in Houston. Now,
but theirs was a fancy one. It was like a modern, like fancy one that you turn the gas on and then it is within the glass, right?
Oh, did they turn the gas on?
They
because the gas was already leaking. So
the gas was leaking from the vintage stove.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, whose stove was it? Was a
Julia Child's.
Julia Child's
stove. Julia Child.
And when they were shooting each other, it broke. So the gas. So when they lit the fire to light their fireplace, then we presume that the fire caught the gas that was leaking.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, gas is an odorless gas. It just kind of flows throughout the house, and it doesn't matter where you strike the flame, it'll probably ignite. So,
but I was kind of mad that it went to white. Like, I kind of wanted to know what happened, and then you don't really know what happened.
So Dr. Chu has to have an ending. She has to have closure.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to give you an out there with the electric fireplace, but I think you debunked that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But what if it's not behind the glass? I want to say that they showed the fireplace at some point throughout the movie. Maybe we just wasn't paying enough attention to it.
But there was definitely like a fire out in the yard. But I don't think that's what he meant.
Because she lit something on fire that he had ordered from overseas.
Oh yeah, the moss, the Irish.
I want to say like there was a point when he comes into the house and he tells the AI guy to like increase the music volume by like 5% and turn the fire on. So I don't think there's any. It's like not hiding behind the glass or anything. I think it was a pretty open flame type fireplace.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, I thought it was. I've never had a comedy movie end quite like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That was something.
It was good. Speaking of things blowing up or burning out, see what I did there, Jacobi?
Yeah,
I thought this movie was.
You're getting really good at this, man.
I thought this movie was a good example of, we're all, or a lot of us are hustling, trying to make things happen in our careers, pursue our passions, help others, inspire others, do all of that. It can be so easy to get burned out and maybe overbook yourself, do too much. And I thought that maybe Ivy did a little too much of that, her becoming successful. And I thought about how easy it could be, in optometry. I think it could be pretty easy to get burned out in optometry in certain settings, with debt, with family stuff going on at home, because we all still have our families in our lives. It can't all just be about work. Do you guys have any, Dr. Chu, Dr. Cleaver, have any advice for younger ODs like myself or students on how to avoid burnout as an optometrist?
I would say, because I had a student just ask me this the other day. I would say be as involved as you want to be, and whatever that looks like. If you just want to do patient care from 9 to 5 and go home, then that's fine. If you want to cut back on patient care, which a lot of our colleagues do, maybe 4 or 3 days a week, that's fine. If you want to pursue industry or whatever, optometry allows you to do that. But I also think that you should find something that's totally unrelated to the job that you do every day, something that you can easily pick up and find enjoyment in it, right? So, if it's whether it's an art class or, like this podcast that we're doing here, like something you can go into movies, something you can easily pick up throughout the day, any day, and just kind of release and go do that for an hour or two and then come back and kind of reset. Now, and I know a lot of our colleagues like to travel and stuff too. Now, those are bigger commitments, and you should do that too if you have a desire to do that. But that's the advice I try to give students. But you have the rest of your life to work. You have work-life balance in itself doesn't mean anything unless you find what works for you, the balance for you. Like, so because we tossed around work-life balance so much, what does it really mean? Now I'm going to go to work from about 7:30 to about 2:30 every day, and I'm not going to work weekends. But that works for me. But I know some of my colleagues, they don't mind working on the weekends. I just choose not to do that. I have an opportunity. I just choose not to. I'd rather be doing other things. Dr. Chu?
I think all of the points you said are so right. You have to find things that you enjoy outside of work. So you take care of your patients, go to clinic. And if you want to extend that, there's so many organizations within optometry that you can still connect with people, but it's on a different level. So I'm involved with organizations like GPLI, the Gas Permeable Lens Institute. I'm involved with the Scleral Lens Education Society, and it's eye and contact lens related, but in a different way. I love working with students and going to schools and teaching and giving lectures. And that's a little bit different from, day-to-day clinic. And being at USC, I have an opportunity to kind of mix up what I do on a daily basis. So I have a research component. I get to conduct research. I was working this morning on a poster for ARVO coming up next month.
Nice.
Get to work on some lectures, see patients. And I think having a variety of things to do is what kind of prevents things from getting boring or too monotonous.
Right.
And it's funny because I was having some issues with my computer. And so I couldn't check my work email at home, and I couldn't do any of my work stuff at home. So then I just started separating. When I'm home, I get to spend time with my family and watch TV or do this. And then when I work, I just try to be more productive within that time. Let me finish reviewing this paper. Let me finish writing this article. I'm going to do it before I drive home. And then it kind of separates your work from home. I don't really think there's a balance. I think it's just a continuous, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Well, I missed this today. I'm going to go back to it. I have a whole list. I have a list, and I just write all these things down and cross it out. I love having lists and crossing things out. That makes me feel very productive. Even if it's call someone, I'll write it down and then I'll cross it out. So I think just keeping a variety of things can help prevent that burnout, which, you need to also prioritize sleep. I think that's very important. That I feel like as I'm getting older, I really need sleep. And if I don't get enough of that, I can't function well the next day.
Right. Yep.
So I that's important too.
Do you carry a little for when you cross off what you do? Dr. Chu, do you carry a little notepad with you or something, or do you do it on your phone or?
I literally go so old school, and I use paper and pen, and I just write it down and I update it. It's very strange. I just have this paper and I update it every month because I have long-term things I need to do, like projects and lectures and goals. And then I have short-term things like review the invoice so we can pay it this month. So I just keep it there. And then when I cross out too many things, I just write a new paper. It's not on my phone. It's just literally a piece of paper in front of me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there is something satisfying, right, about crossing something off. It's
Yeah.
a little weight lifted off your shoulders a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I'm definitely still figuring it out early on in my career how to, because I overbook myself all the time. So I'm figuring out now how to not do that. And
You can also say no to things.
No,
yes,
I was
that's
just
right.
about to say that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Or, you don't have to, if someone asks you to do something, and I was pretty guilty of this recently, man. Like usually if a colleague asks me to do something and if I can do it, I don't have anything that's blocking me from doing it, then I probably would at the very least consider it, if not just go ahead and do it. But you don't have to immediately reply with an answer, right? I think you could take a day. Good etiquette is you can take a day or so to reply, or a day or two to reply. And your no is an indirect yes, and your yes is an indirect no for something else, right? So I've learned, and I'm sure Dr. Chu can say this as well. Like I've learned not to commit to things so far in advance because life happens, man. And I know Dr. Chu and I just both mentioned that we're doing lectures at Academy, but you have to submit those outlines and stuff so early.
Yeah.
And they do a real good job of putting it on the calendar and letting you know in advance if you've gotten it selected or not, man. But no, like outside of lecturing for conferences, like I try not to commit to too many things too early.
Wow. I'm glad we get to hear from two kind of leaders in our field here about how they manage what you do, because you guys do a lot. Me and all the students, we see you guys all over social media and all the lectures and everything you do. So it's inspiring to hear. The only thing go ahead.
Dr. Chu and I want you and the students to take over so we can take a step back.
Yeah.
All
Are
right.
you speaking at Academy?
My lecture didn't. Well, I didn't apply this year. I sent one in last year, but didn't get accepted. I
And
have
that's
a lecture.
okay.
Yeah, I figure eventually it will. I have a retina lecture that I give that I think is pretty good, but I think I have a couple more cases I could add to it and polish it up a little more. But I've given it at a couple. I gave it like at our Arizona chapter of Academy and things like that. So eventually, I will.
The meetings and lecture selections are interesting. I submitted 3 talks for Academy this year, and 1 was accepted. And there's been years that I've submitted 1 and it was accepted, and 3 and none of them were accepted.
Mhm.
So don't be discouraged by that. I
Right.
think sometimes it's kind of arbitrary, and you think, oh, this lecture it's a good one, and they didn't find it to be, they didn't select that one. So you just keep trying. And I think when you have ups and downs, it makes you more excited when something good happens. And there's a lot of meetings too. So
Right.
you have to kind of be selective about which meetings you go to. There's AOA, there's AAO, and then there's different ones depending on your interest. There's things related to vision therapy, contact lenses, like different things. So many things that you can get involved with in optometry.
And I also think, just to add to that, like I think the location matters as well. Like if Anaheim is usually going to have some pretty good weather. There's a lot of ODs on the West Coast. So sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, really. But if they have a lot of retina lectures, and it's kind of hard for them to shift through everything. But yeah, don't get discouraged about not getting selected. There's always time to submit for, like Dr. Chu said, for various meetings, man. And once you kind of get your name out there and you start kind of circulating around, and I don't know this to be a fact, but I feel like they kind of start looking for your name when you do submit, and that helps, especially if you've done lectures before and you've gotten good feedback from your colleagues. Then they'll kind of start looking for your name. Now I don't know that for sure. That's just a theory of mine. So,
but
Okay.
Speaking of location, this January, for the first time, I went to a conference in Hawaii called Island Eyes. And
Yeah.
man, I want to go there so bad.
I
went to it last year. Yeah.
I didn't speak. I didn't prepare anything. And I got, oh my gosh, I think I got 16 or 18 hours of CE.
Wow.
And they were good lectures, and it was in a wonderful resort, and it was so much fun.
Did you bring your family with you?
I brought my husband.
Okay. Cool.
He had a great time too. While I was learning about the eye, he was either at the bar, at the pool, at the beach. So location.
That's usually what Ash does when she goes to meetings. She'll go sightsee and stuff while I'm working. So
Yeah. it was awesome. So really, I hope to go back again.
Which island was it on this year? I think they rotate islands every year.
It was on the Big Island.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
cool.
And next year it's going to be in Maui.
Okay,
Okay, I'll have to check that
that's
out.
cool. Yeah, I went to Maui. I went to the Maui one last year. And it's fun because your lectures are done by like 1 or something like that. So.
Yeah, they try to. I mean, it starts at I think like 7, but since there's a lot of people from the West Coast, so that's perfect timing, you know, because it's like 9 o'clock, even though it's 7, and then you can just get your hours in and then be done. So I think it does end around 1. They usually have a sponsored lunch, and then you can eat or not eat, and then go to the pool. It's great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool. Oh, well, cool. This has been great. You guys have given some really, really good advice with your wealth of experience.
We try. You know, we try to learn from each other here. But
For
no,
sure.
any parting shots before we close out this this episode? I just want to thank Dr. Chu again because we know you're extremely busy, man. Thanks again for taking the time out to hang out with us for this episode. Man, it's been great. And you did your homework. You did your homework. You sat still long enough to watch a movie, so that's fantastic.
I did. And I'm not. I wish I could have more time to sit down and watch movies, and maybe that's something to take up to avoid burnout. But this really gave me an opportunity, and it was like homework that I had to watch a movie. So I felt productive watching it.
Exactly.
And
there you go.
So it was good. I think this podcast that you have is great for optometrists who are looking for a little avenue to just get away from work, but we still incorporated optometry to some degree.
Yeah.
So it's great. I hope that I get to watch more movies and can prioritize time to kind of.
Well, Dr. Chu, if you want homework, we can give you homework.
Yeah, I can send you.
Oh no, it's okay.
I got all kinds of lists I can share with you.
Well, I'm open to hearing which movies you suggest.
Okay.
I'm open to that. But when I'll watch it, not sure.
I mean, you know, it's like you said, it's kind of hard to get to the movie theater. So streaming services make things a lot easier.
I do like watching some TV shows. Like I've really been into The Pit and
I hadn't started that one yet. I am going to.
You know what? So, Dr. Chu, have you caught up on The Pit?
Yes.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, there was a CRAO.
And I remember that one.
Well, they did that. I told our ophthalmologist where I work about it the next day. I was like, isn't that crazy? And then we were looking up the study. And then she had a CRAO walk in the next week. And she ended up not doing the thrombolytics because the patient was like 20/40. I think that was cilioretinal. I think it was sparing, macular sparing.
Oh, sweet. Okay, good.
But she almost did the thrombolytics. She got on with the clinical pharmacist, and they got him, they found him, and they were going to do it. And it was all because of
the show.
Yeah, and it was real. That's a real study that they've done.
I know.
So I thought
Jacob, you mentioned that the whole premise of that show is to be as medically accurate as possible, right?
That's what they want to do, yeah. And it seems like they're doing a good job. All the eye stuff has been pretty on point.
It has been. Okay. I really like that show. And they're a little bit like shorter clips, like not like a 2-hour movie, but you know, you can watch it and pause it, and it's like usually 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
Yeah, you got to get on it. We could do it on.
Yeah, that's a good one. The Pit.
So maybe we can get Dr. Chu and some other colleagues. You can just break down episodes of The Pit just real quick. Okay.
Oh, those could be like quick little reels even. That could be cool.
Because Dr. Chu is because I know a lot of our colleagues are watching that and they rave about it. So I just got to get on board with it.
I like the characters too. Yeah.
I like most of the characters. There's one named Jacobi.
Well, they have to play their part. So you have all types of personalities in the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty realistic. Yeah. It's pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, you guys, that's been another episode of the OD'ing on Movies podcast. Again, thank you, Dr. Chu, for hanging out with us this evening. And Jacob, any parting words before we get out of here, my friend?
No, does everyone have a good week? We'll see you guys on the next episode.
All right, perfect. Have a good one.
All right, that's it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't miss the sequel. Get your eyes checked.